that one time we read manga podcast where we four friends decided to start reading manga together and sitting down and talking about it. My name is Tim Wamsley, and fun fact from me today, the voice of Luffy in the English dub is Sonny Strait, who also voices Krillin in Dragon Ball Z.
Hey everybody,
That is pretty cool.
My name's Duncan, and I'm being talked over.
Very fun.
My fun fact for the week is that, going back to Krillin, I have a tattoo of Krillin on my leg.
And I have a matching one of Vegeta.
That's very nice. Hey everybody, my name's John, and my fun fact for the day is that I have a really big thing for marble surfaces, and I plan to outfit my entire house with marble surfaces to make me feel like I have worth.
And maybe he'll have a marble bust of himself someday.
Ooh. My name's Nate, and my favorite alcoholic beverage is a Sazerac.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, we do.
Sazerac.
I love Sazzy.
You'll have to send me
That's
that
so
recipe.
good. Rise
Okay.
and bitters. Rise and bitters.
Rise and
I can get behind some sassy, dude.
Fair.
I like that.
I'm glad other
Nate,
people know
I
what
think
it
we're
is.
becoming best friends.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Someone quote Step Brothers.
We should become best friends.
All right. Well, hey, gentlemen, this week we dove back into One Piece, covered chapters 22 through 41, which was the entirety of the arc known as the Syrup Village arc. Luffy and the gang arrive at eventually, the main point of the arc is they get to a place called Syrup Village. They meet the next crew member in Usopp, and they beat up probably what I would describe as the first truly despicable character in One Piece so far. So just general reactions to the readings this week. What'd you guys think?
I don't know how to pronounce the butler's name.
Kuro.
No, well, I understand Kuro, but the other one that was like Clawhara or something?
It's Klahadore.
Clawhador, okay. God, every time I read it, I had to take about 10 seconds to figure out in my mind how I think it should be pronounced.
Yeah, well, and welcome to the problem I was having with Hunter x Hunter last week, which was just like, I've never heard these names pronounced, so I have no idea what I'm doing. But I've heard that name, it's Klahadore.
That's very
I have a couple of thoughts about it. So a good and a bad one. But the good one is it started getting pretty serious in there, and I really, really enjoyed the action that was going on. Like, I really expected it to not go on as long as it did, but goddamn if it didn't drag on.
This isn't even one of the long arcs.
I know. No, but it was really entertaining. And also, on the bad side, I don't think Luffy quite understands what a pirate is.
Explain.
He has some moral qualms with a lot of the pirates, and
Well, just because you're a pirate doesn't mean you have to be a bad guy. There are good pirates in the world, like Gold Roger.
yeah. Well, what do we know about him so far, Timothy?
He started the Great Pirate Era. Bad guys can't do that.
And people have died because of that.
like a
because
lot
there
of people.
because there are bad pirates. But Luffy's gonna be a good one. Damn it.
I don't think this math adds up.
You'll see. Nate, what did you think?
I knew who Usopp was coming into this just from like seeing anime tidbits, and I honestly didn't like the character before, but reading this arc now I'm like, you know what? I like this guy.
I did actually make a note of it in my notes that's like the anime does Usopp so dirty because they make him seem so much more annoying. Because in the Japanese dub, I don't know how he sounds in English, to be honest. I didn't get that far in English. But in Japanese, he sounds very screechy, high-pitched, and annoying. And the anime kind of dwells on that, while the manga is just kind of like, yeah, he kind of bothers the townsfolk. You get a sense that that's been going on a while. But then they immediately show you why he seems so annoying or why he lies all the time. He's got a heart of gold.
I guess I don't have the anime to reference from, but I was horribly annoyed with Usopp. I really, he is my least favorite character by far.
Okay. I will say he's definitely my least favorite for a while. But again, I have context, and he gets better. It gets better.
I liked that his whole character design was based off of, like, he's a liar.
Yeah,
but his nose is ridiculously long, so it's kind of like a play off of Pinocchio. Yeah,
that is actually exactly what it is. I think Oda made a note of that in the manga, that it's actually a play on Pinocchio. And if you didn't note it in the manga, it's when I was reading the wiki I read that.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing anything about that in the manga, but it's possible that I just missed it.
Yeah,
I think I have this bias that I really like when there's anyone that's just kind of dumb that follows the protagonist. I for some reason I love it. I mean, I think that's why Mike's a good friend of mine.
Yeah. That's why we all
protag energy.
He's the perfect sidekick. I don't know what to tell you.
Mike's got that henchman energy.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, Usopp is a liar, and again, the anime does him way dirtier than the manga does.
You're really convincing me to watch the anime right now because I hate that guy.
If you watch the anime, though, it's gonna make you hate him more.
Yeah, that was sarcasm. You're not convincing me.
I don't want you to watch the anime.
All right, we're done. Thanks for listening.
The manga is the better way to enjoy this series. I've been telling you that for years. So he's a liar. He lies about the pirates coming to town, and the one time he's right, no one believes him. The one time it's a classic boy who cried wolf story. Let me see.
Could you say it was Usopp's Fables?
Maybe.
Perhaps.
I feel like that was a play on words that no one really got.
No, not entirely, but
okay.
I got the gist.
Yeah. So I guess I got your first impressions, but are you guys still like having fun with the manga? Like we won't get too far into details yet, but are you guys still having fun?
Oh, more so than ever. I mean, in the entire 2 episodes we've done of this.
Yeah.
I really, really did enjoy it. I mean, my annoyance with Usopp is pretty minimal. I mean, as far as like everything else is considered, I really am enjoying it.
Good. Yeah, and like I said, it gets better with Usopp, but I love Usopp and Luffy when they hang out together because they're both 17. They're both the same age. So you feel like Zoro's kind of older, Nami's a girl and a little bit older, but Usopp and Luffy are kind of on the same maturity level. So they're going to mesh like really well. They're going to be the best of friends. You can already tell.
I did see that note of all the characters' ages that I'm sure was probably added retroactively.
Maybe.
Once the internet came around.
If anything, Nami's was.
Yeah, that was the big one.
I actually did want to make
What was Nami's age again?
18.
Ha, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
She has to be 18. I did actually want to issue a small correction, because remember in the first episode I said we're going to see a lot of maps of the One Piece world, but we'll never see a globe. Literally the next chapter, there was a globe. Nami's explaining the Grand Line and the Red Line and the 4 seas, east, south, north, and west.
I mean, yeah, like, I'm looking at it, I mean...
That was my bad. I forgot that was in there.
I mean, for those of you that believe that the Earth is round, this might not suffice, but, I mean...
It doesn't matter if they think our world is round, as long as they believe the One Piece world is round.
So the One Piece world is flat. Is that what we're saying?
No, it's round. There was a globe in the manga. Nami's
buddy,
the world.
I see it.
We agree.
I'm looking at it right
it's
now.
a globe because it's a fantasy world, and that's the only place that it would make sense.
It's on a sheet of paper, guys. It's flat.
It's a flat globe. Fuck.
That's what I'm getting at. Like,
if you believe the Earth is flat, stop listening now, because.
And there's giant swords hanging out outside of Earth.
And we're surrounded by the Arctic Circle with snipers shooting anybody who gets too close.
It's crazy.
So before we even get to Syrup Village in much detail, we take a little detour. We open with like Nami, Zoro, and Luffy kind of just interacting amongst themselves, which you immediately realize that just because Zoro's the oldest doesn't mean he's responsible in any way. Nami has that anxiety mom energy of just like, what do you mean you guys don't have any food? What do you mean you don't know where you're going? What the hell? what are you guys even doing out here? And they stumble across that, I don't even know the name of the island, but they meet the spirit of the forest, which is just a dude in a box. Did you guys like that part? Did you think it was kind of like unnecessary or necessary for different reasons?
Absolutely unnecessary, but I did enjoy it. I was kind of wanting him to get broken out of the box. I wanted to see what this weird, deformed body looked like. I wanted to see him crawl around the ground and because
have all his organs fall out.
Yeah, all of his organs fall out. No,
because it did say that the box was effectively his body now, right?
Yeah,
because he's at his body, which makes no sense. But once again, we're reading One Piece, and I mean, they're alluding that there's a round Earth. So,
oh my god,
that's fair.
I wanted him to be the mimic that guarded the treasure on the ship.
I mean, he kind of was, yeah.
He was guarding a treasure. I think it actually was a pretty necessary spot because it also sets up more of Luffy's character of just like, all right, you made it up there now, send down my treasure. He's like, nah, I don't wanna. And they're like, what? But of course, Gaimon, I believe is the guy's name, or Gaimon, whatever.
That makes sense. Yeah.
He immediately realizes like, oh, it's because they're empty, aren't they? And he's like, yep, sorry, pal. But it was just kind of like, again, I thought it was a nice character moment for Luffy just to be like, he's willing to make this dude hate him to spare his feelings and give him something to believe in for a second. Because otherwise he literally wasted 20 years of his life in a box, which is depressing as shit.
Yeah, and he wants to waste more of his life because he likes the critters.
I mean, did you see those animals? There was bunny snakes and lion porcupines and whatever else.
Pretty cool looking.
It was a lion pig. Thank you very much.
Yeah, whatever, dude. It doesn't matter. They don't exist.
It was
It's canon. It matters.
It matters. I mean, it's canon because it's in the manga.
Yeah. For a little mini arc that didn't have any fighting or anything, it was a lot of fun though. I mean, I enjoyed Diamond. He's more fun than Usopp.
Oh wow, that's hurtful. Poor Usopp, man. I don't know what he did to you to deserve that.
Probably lied to him.
He probably lied to him.
Yeah, probably lied.
He probably lied to you.
I agree with Tim. I feel like the only reason that they went off and did that little tangent was to build more on Luffy's character. Because he seemed to be the one that was most involved, and that's the little snippet.
There was a little bit more of context about the Grand Line and the Red Line, though. I mean, that's kind of what I took away from it. Like, their explanations as to, like, what exactly the journey entails. Like, I think that's kind of what the main... I mean, I guess there's two ways to see it here, but I felt like that was the bigger part of it, like to kind of expand on like what exactly the crew's actually getting into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, help build this Grand Line as the actual like destination of it all. So just from that alone, they're not going to get there anytime soon, right? Because there's only 3 of them. If it's as scary as they say, it's like you should probably wait.
If I didn't know that there was over 1,000 chapters, I would probably think that they're going to make a beeline there relatively soon, but I guess not.
Maybe. Who knows? You won't get anything out of me. Yeah, so they make it to, Syrup Village, I think just because they were hungry. I think that's the only reason they even stopped.
Yeah.
And they run into... I don't even remember who they meet first. I think they run into Usopp's pirates. Yeah, and Usopp's with them, and then he disappears on them while they're eating in the restaurant because he goes off to tell stories to that Kaya girl.
Yeah.
Immediately, I just... And again, we're just going to kind of jump around. I don't want to get all recappy with it, but like, Usopp has the most tragic backstory so far, I think.
I mean, his dad left him. At
least his dad's alive.
Yeah, his dad's alive.
But his mom's not.
Did it really expand on that? I guess I might have glanced over exactly what happened to his mom.
Yeah, she died of illness. Never having seen his dad again. Which also, that poor woman, that's where Usopp's nose comes from, is his mom. You'd think like, oh, it's his dad. No, we actually already met his dad.
Yeah, you didn't realize that you actually met him, but I think he showed up in like a picture or two.
Yeah. He.
Did
I
a
mean, they
little
showed
flashback.
pictures of him with Shanks's crew and everything.
Yeah.
So it was
I thought
just
that was really cool.
Yeah, it's a nice connection of just like, oh yeah, well, Shanks is like my father figure, and your dad is with Shanks, so let's go be better pirates than our dads.
Yeah, it was nice to have that connection in there, and once again, I'm excited for them to meet up with Shanks and his crew again. I think that'll be fun when and if that ever happens, which I'm sure it does.
I'm sure he pops
Considering
up.
Usopp's dad is on Shanks's crew and Luffy wants to be a lot like Shanks, I think it's only sensible that Usopp ended up joining Luffy's crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I love how he wasn't going to at first either. He was just going to be
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm setting off to sea by myself. And they're like, well, why don't you just come with us? He's like, you mean I get to be your captain? No,
That was
idiot.
pretty funny.
That's my favorite bit is Usopp just keeps trying to be captain of other people's crews. It's like, oh, jeez.
I
So,
appreciate
yeah.
his enthusiasm.
Yes, I give him the A for effort kind of deal. So like, do you guys have any favorite moments during like just the whole thing, not even just what we've talked about, but just like the whole thing?
I'm gonna have to go back and kind of like take a look at what I'm looking for, but I think Luffy's stupidity throughout this arc was like top tier. I'll have to find like some specific moments on it, but I mean, I was just the times that I like audibly laughed or like giggled at anything was because of how stupid Luffy is.
Yeah.
And Lucy.
And Lucy.
Yeah, and my dog Lucy. Yeah.
I think that it's near the end, but I think my favorite moment is when Luffy uses I'm gonna call it gum concussion because he just headbutts that dude.
Yeah. his
Yeah.
Neck stretches like 3 miles back and then just fucking headbutts Clawdor or Koro or whatever you want to call him.
I had to watch that scene in the anime because I just wanted to see it. The fact that he reaches his head back, talks to those other pirates, and then just smacks him. I was like, this is hilarious. I love it.
Yes,
That was great. I loved
that's a
that part.
classic. That is a classic.
That's like solid cartoon humor, and I love it.
That's what's great about Luffy is he's just a Warner Brothers cartoon. He's a Looney Tune kind of deal. Like it's great. It's awesome. Duncan, any favorites? Any favorite moments you can pick out off the top of your head?
I can think of two. One of them just being that Luffy was obsessed with trying to get meat at the very beginning, and then like throughout that little arc, he's like, I can go get some meat. I'm hungry for meat. I thought that was pretty funny anytime that they brought that back up.
Yeah, they like to remind us how Luffy's a shonen protagonist.
Mm-hmm. And I liked Zoro during the fight, or Zolo, and he loses 2 of his swords at one point, and then he's fighting with just the single sword style until he gets his swords back, and then he just starts kicking everyone's ass.
Yeah, he's just more versatile. And again, another moment where I don't know if Luffy was even there yet, but it's like Zoro's gonna handle the top tier officers, and then Luffy will take on the captain.
Yeah,
Usually.
Luffy wasn't there because he got lost on the way there because he doesn't have any sense of direction.
yeah.
That was
He
so
got
good.
lost. Usopp had a nice moment to shine, though. Like, show he can be brave. He's not just a cowardly liar. And it's only because Nami screwed over Zoro
I was going to mention that bit next too. That was really, really funny.
That Usopp had to get his shit kicked in there for a second. Nami just doesn't do anything. She's fucking useless. I don't like Nami still. I still don't like her. I'm like, I appreciate her more, but I hate her in these early chapters, these early arcs.
I don't know how you can't like Luffy or Nami.
Nami.
Bro.
I don't know.
I
how
love
you
Luffy.
Can't like her. She's a great lady.
Yeah, okay.
Alright.
She hasn't done anything useful yet. I don't even think I think she hit a guy with her stick once in that little scrum, and then
she became a damsel in distress.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's kind of like, oh, god damn it, like what? And she's just in the way. She screws over Zoro, and then blames him. Like, I can't believe you fell for it, or not even fall for it, but she was like, well, if you wanted to not be stuck, you should have been faster than me or something like that. I'm like, what the fuck? All right.
And another relation to Naruto.
Yeah.
A useless,
The useless female character. Yeah. Thankfully, I will say Nami's not totally useless forever. She has her moments. It's gonna be a minute. It's gonna be a minute, unfortunately. So
Also sounds familiar.
I'm gonna have to deal with damsel in distress Nami for a minute.
I like that you like I think it was last episode you talked about how there's going to be a recurring theme where just like everybody the party gets split constantly, and I'm loving that it's the dumbest of reasons. It's just like Luffy's too fast. This guy doesn't know where he's going. Like
Yeah. Yeah, this guy gets screwed over, doesn't know where he's going. Luffy doesn't know where he's going and thinks he's looking for something else. Yeah, the party's going to be split. Whenever Oda wants to build tension, he's going to split everybody up for the most abstract of reasons. Just, and then this guy needed to tie his shoe and then got attacked by a bandit or something, and then he's late to the fight for 10 minutes.
I love that they set up the ambush on the wrong beach, too.
Yeah, that was clever. That was really clever. He's like, why did you think we're going here? He's like, that's where they had the meeting. I don't know. One of my favorite characters, and I'm saving talking about Koro in detail for a minute because I have a lot to say about him. Well, not a lot to say, but I really enjoy talking about him compared to who we've seen so far. And but my favorite character is Django, the hypnotist, because he always hypnotizes himself.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that was fun.
Just how, like, yeah, it was a fun bit. You're like, oh man, this is gonna come into play. It doesn't. I mean, it kind of does. Like, he powers up his crew just by making them think like, hey, you're superhumans and stuff, and they go absolutely buck wild. And
Luffy.
Well, so he hypnotizes Luffy to fall asleep and fall off the cliff, which makes them think he's dead. And then they hypnotize him again to be a berserker. He absolutely wrecks shit on everybody.
Yeah, I've been enjoying the theme of captains thinking that they've killed Luffy, and then he just is totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is really funny, though, because in the sea they're in the East Blue. I think they mentioned that in, like, the opening chapters of One Piece at all. They're all from the East Blue. There's not a lot of power users that we've seen so far in the East Blue that we know of. Like, they could be out there, they're just not interacting with our crew. So yeah, the last thing they expect him to be is he doesn't have an immediately noticeable power. So the last thing they expect him to be is practically immortal to blunt force trauma.
Yeah. Which I was surprised that he could actually get damaged, which, I mean, it wouldn't be a good manga or show if he couldn't get damaged, but, like, I didn't realize, which it does make sense that he can be cut.
Yes.
Which, yeah, I mean, that totally makes sense when you think about it. Rubber can absolutely be cut.
Yeah, you just stretch out a rubber band, take scissors, snip it.
But it wasn't even something that I was thinking about almost the entire fight, and then they were talking towards the end, after this whole arc, like, how Luffy was, like, about at his end, or at his limit because of blood loss or whatever it was.
Yeah, he passes out at the very end of the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is the most beat up he's gotten in any fight so far, just because they cut him up so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that should really let you know, just like the scale of the enemies as we go, are getting worse and worse. Just bigger and bigger baddies, and that does bring me to Koro or Clawhador, or however you want to. I mentioned it earlier. This dude's really, like, our first really despicable guy. Like, he's just evil for the sake of it. He has, lofty aspirations to retire and be rich after killing a whole family for it. And then has, like, this 3-year plan, and it doesn't go well, so he starts murdering his own crew. Like, I mean, this guy is just a dirtbag.
Well, he was planning to off his own crew from the beginning.
Exactly.
Buggy would have never done this to his crew.
Buggy never would have done this, but it is kind of weird, like, his motivations versus the guys we've seen so far. So Captain Morgan, just a power-hungry freak, who is Like, he was a dirtbag, but his son was more of the liar and cheater. Morgan was very straight up with who he was, right? Buggy was just kind of a guy. Like, he just wanted to conquer a town and live large, and I don't think Buggy really had any aspirations outside of that. But he was mean once to a friend, so they had to take care of him. But Koro is just like, I am just, I just want to kill people. I just love killing. I just want to kill everybody, including my own crew, and I think that's why Luffy has such a problem with him. John, to your point, Luffy doesn't know what a pirate is. I think he does, and he knows a pirate captain doesn't kill his own crew.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, I guess I'm getting a little too serious as to how bad of people pirates are usually.
In
but
our world,
yeah.
Yes, pirates are despicable people, but in One Piece, pirates are on a spectrum.
Oh my goodness. You're going down a path I can't follow.
Well, it's like we were talking about the Navy, though. There's good Marines, there's bad Marines. Morgan was a bad Marine, but the guy who let them go was a good one, you know? So Koro's a bad pirate. Bad as in, like, he's a dirtbag, and then Luffy's a good pirate. Good as in he helps people, even if they end up hating him at the end.
Yeah. I'll accept that.
Yeah. It was a fun arc, I think. What did you guys think of Koro, actually? I brought him up.
I'm glad you said his name because I didn't want to jump into any points because I just can't. I just couldn't get his name right. But I have at least one question. I know I have more questions, but to give my summary of him, I did enjoy him because, like, and I'm sure we'll keep on saying this, but, like, he was the first enemy that I, like, really, really took seriously. I was like, oh, yeah, this guy's a legitimate bad dude.
Yeah.
But also with that is, like, he didn't have any redemption at all. Like, I mean, he was going to be bad till the end, and I really, really, from a story perspective, like, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking the power of friendship was going to make him feel sorry for his actions, and no, he's just a bad dude. And I was like, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, we got to kick this guy's ass. He's a piece of shit. I like that was the motivation, that everyone just like, nah, this dude sucks. I'm like, okay, finally, someone that just sucked for being shitty.
Yeah. There's no one sticking up for him. But Kaya does for a minute. Like, the girl, the sick girl that Usopp lies to, she, like, sticks up. She's like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing, or, oh, no, he's a nice guy. Until she finds the other butler almost murdered, and then she's like, what? No, he could never. And then she gets to the beach and sees him murdering people, and is like, oh, well, all right.
I mean, she still kept on trying to kind of give him that chance of redemption, though, and that's what made me think that it was going to continue. I thought that he was going to continually, like, do bad things until she finally got through to her, like normal anime and manga do, like, especially, like, shonen, like, the power of friendship is generally pretty huge.
It matters.
But no, yeah, that didn't happen, and I really enjoyed that because, like, although I do not believe he died at the end, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he died.
I don't think so either. I think he was arrested.
Luffy just threw him.
Yes.
Was he arrested? He threw him into the orbit.
He like sent him flying, which... I guess I don't know. I don't know what happened to Koro.
I've seen Team Rocket blast off again and again.
That's true.
I don't think he's dead.
And they always come back.
Yeah. Those people get electrocuted by a fucking mouse every week, so... If they can survive, I think this guy can survive.
Oh my!
Unless he gets picked up by a Navy ship, in which case he will be arrested.
I think it would be really funny if they'd, like, a really cartoony thing happen. He just lands on a Navy ship, and they're just like, and then they just beat him up even more because he lands on it.
They don't even know who he is yet. They just kick the shit out of him for being on the ship.
Yeah, I will commend how, like, smart and detail-oriented he was. Like, I know the one chapter was, like, the captain of 1,000 plans or whatever it was. Like, I did really enjoy... like how meticulous he was and like just all the bad things that he planned on doing, like he did plan every bit of it, which was really cool to see. Like a lot of forethought going into it, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Duncan, any thoughts on Clawdor or Kuro?
I thought that his introduction as a character was really good because he, like, you don't realize that he's the captain of a pirate ship right off the bat. You just think he's this, like, asshole butler. He's got this weird quirk with his glasses.
I love that bit, by the way. When I first read that, like, way back in the day, and they were like, he only ever uses his palms, so he never cuts himself with his claws. And then you realize, like, oh, that's because he never stopped thinking. He hasn't changed. He's always been just an undercover asshole. Like, it blew my mind the first time I ever read that. I loved it. It was my favorite. Sorry.
Yeah,
I thought that was a really good little addition there. I love when any type of story does that. Be like, he does this weird thing because of this. You're like, oh, I didn't see it.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I thought that, like, really good build up to his character reveal. And what was the girl's name? Kaya, I think?
Kaya, yeah.
Yeah, when she bought him the new glasses, and then he reveals his true self, but just, like, crushing them in front of her. And I just thought that was, I thought it spoke to his character very well.
Yeah. Did they go into why he crushed the glasses, or was it just kind of like, I'm an asshole, I'm going to crush them?
I think it was just an asshole thing.
Yeah,
I think he just said he was sick and tired of acting.
Ah.
Yeah, I think he was just like, I'm tired of doing this. Crunch.
I don't need your handout, bitch. I'm going to take everything you own and hypnotize you into signing a will. What a meticulous plan, by the way. You have to rely on a hypnotist that doesn't even hypnotize people half the time to do shit. I also enjoyed the intro, not the intro, but Usopp's Pirates, the three kids, Pepper, Onion, and what was the third kid's name? Carrot, yeah.
Because I thought of John when I read Carrot.
My oh my, how I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course you should. Just shave your head bald, we'll stop calling you a redhead.
No, that doesn't go well.
Trust me, we know. But yeah, those three getting in on the fight and trying to save Kaya and fighting off Django even just for a minute, like I was impressed. I'm like, these kids are all right. They're gonna be all right. Until they almost died. You're like, eek, eek. Like that dude was chopping down trees. Django was chopping down trees with his little disc blade thing.
I mean, that was pretty ruthless of him. He's just trying to slaughter some kids.
Yeah, man.
A helpless girl. That's crazy.
I was going to take things very seriously if he ended up killing kids. I was planning to mentally accept that.
Oh, man. Yeah, kids are the target of a lot of bullshit in One Piece. I'll give you that. Like, kids get a raw deal in this manga. Like, nothing, like, out of this world horrific, but there's going to be, if they're trying to invoke some sympathy for the situation, they're going to be like, look at all the kids who were starving or beaten or experimented on or whatever. Like, it's going to be, kids get a raw deal in this show.
Yeah.
Again, it's more to just invoke the sympathy out of you to be like, look how ruthless this guy is. He's killing kids or he's beating.
Antagonists.
Yeah,
antagonists have to be made somehow. They either hurt a kid or they kick a dog. Like.
Yes, exactly. And so far, we're 2 for 2 on that. We've had a dog kicked and a kid beat.
No.
Yeah. Buggy's first mate.
What's wrong with beating kids again?
Well, it's to show how bad the bad guys are. In Shonen, beating kids is bad. You're going to get canceled one of these days, Duncan.
That's the plan.
So, we're talking about the villain. Were the stakes, like, high enough for you guys? Like, did this feel like there was actually something at stake here other than just the life of a little girl?
I definitely think so. Like I said, like, I mean, this was a antagonist that, like, I actually took seriously, and I mean, it was kind of thrilling in that regard. I think the stakes were high enough, and I guess my biggest question was gonna be like, is Kaya gonna die? Like that was my biggest thing. I was expecting her to kind of like just croak at some point because she's so sickly.
Yeah.
But I guess that kind of just
Did that go
It
into
was just a thing.
Did that go into your theory that Koro would change? Like if she ran up to beg him to stop and then died at his feet, he would be like, "Oh, I'm such a dick."
Yeah, which I mean supports the fact that like I'm impressed with the manga so far because like they didn't rely on the power of friendship and forgiveness there. I was expecting something along the lines of like, oh no, Kaya's too sickly and she's putting too much effort into trying to save you. This is your chance. Be a good guy for once and for her sake. That's kind of exactly what I was expecting to happen at some point. And it didn't happen, which, I mean, yeah, I guess her sickliness was kind of overstated at first because, I mean, nothing really came of it.
It kind of gives
you...
I'm sorry to cut you off, but it kind of gives the impression that Clawdor was keeping her sick. Like,
yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of thinking, like, some Munchausen syndrome or something going on there. Like, because, like, she was just fine outside. Like, she was a little bit tired, but, I mean... That's what happens when you don't do any cardio and you stay in bed all day.
Yeah.
For 3 years.
I think the anime emphasizes her sickness a little bit more by adding some like coughing and stuff while she's running around and yelling and stuff. Like she's like, "Stop it!" like that kind of stuff. But it doesn't come through in the manga, which is fine with me. I think I don't know that they ever explicitly say it, but yeah, Clawdor I guarantee was keeping her sick one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe she has cancer or something, but like, it doesn't feel like anything's really wrong with her. She's just really out of shape.
You can't get cancer in shonen.
Oh yeah, that's right. So what happened to Itachi?
Fuck if I know. Heart disease, like Goku.
Everybody thinks he has cancer.
Oh well,
or had. He died from cancer.
Stop it.
Spoiler warning.
Spoiler alert: we haven't read Naruto yet.
Haha, whoops.
I felt the stakes were pretty good. I found myself I kept reading because I wanted to know if the village that was just kind of there, not knowing any of this is happening, if they were going to be like, holy crap, all this shit's coming. No, but they ended up stopping everyone beforehand, and I was really surprised.
Yeah.
I think it really stuck with me that they were all waking up in the morning and they were just like, where's our alarm at? There's no Usopp yelling.
Oh
my god, I slept in.
Yeah, I really liked that the next day. That was kind of a cool touch.
Yeah, I agree. It was like they did at a base level appreciate him, even though they were all outwardly annoyed with him.
Mm-hmm. That's why I liked Usopp. Like at first, again, anime does him dirty, makes him feel really annoying, and they still show that scene of everyone missing him. But like he lies to cheer up Kaya. Like she knows he's lying about his adventures, but it makes her feel a little bit better. So they enjoy it. Like that's a good thing. He lies because every time he calls pirates, it reminds him of his mother who died waiting for his dad to come back from Shanks's crew. Village folks hate his call but seem to miss it, and then he never tells anyone that he actually saved the day. It's like such a tragic silent hero kind of deal, and I'm just like, what a great guy, you know? What a great guy.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
No, I don't know why I don't like him. I just don't like him. I mean, and I don't know. Hate on me all you want, whoever's listening out there, but
I'll
he's
hate
just
on
annoying
you.
to me. Yeah. I mean, hate on me all you want, but he was just annoying. But I mean, that's what kind of tipped me off that he was going to join Luffy's crew. I was like, okay, so clearly he's not going to make anything of this. Like, I just felt like he was the next member, and it naturally kind of sat into that. So now I'm wondering what his usefulness is in the future, but I guess we'll see.
Well, he is a sniper, like his dad.
Oh, with his slingshot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't put that together.
Yeah, I think he says it too. He's like, I'm one of the best shots in the village or something like that, just like my dad.
With a slingshot.
I kind of love the lackluster slingshot. Yeah.
I mean, he kicked ass with it. It was useful in several
Yeah,
ways.
He did. He fucked some guys up with his slingshot, but Yeah, okay.
I mean,
I
yeah,
remember there was a flashback they did with this Pirates where they were like, wow, 50 out of 50 in a row. You were really good with that thing.
yeah, it was pretty subtle. Like, if you were just scrolling through it and kind of like just speed reading the words, it was
People out here with devil fruit, and he's got a slingshot.
motherfucker. You're made of fucking rubber. I got a rock and a slingshot, bitch. Bink. Oh man. So yeah, good crew interactions. Like we already talked about Nami messing up Zoro, and then the crew getting separated. This is something that has nothing to do with the arc itself, but the manga itself. Did you guys like pay attention to the covers of each chapter? Like the Adventures of Buggy without his torso.
Oh yeah,
I did see that, yeah.
Those are some of my favorite. Like I honestly I pause at the beginning of each chapter and just see what the cover art is.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. That leads into something else that I was thinking. But yeah, I mean, the cover art is always entertaining. I like the little excerpts at the end of the.
I like
chapters.
those too.
The Q&A stuff he was doing.
Yeah.
The Q&A, like the little, the like little goofs that he has in there, like it's fun at the end of every chapter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the one that stuck out to me the most was somebody that wrote in that said, "Wow, like your manga got me through high school. I really appreciate all of the work that you put in." And his response was, okay, you're welcome, I guess." he just didn't really know how to react. I thought that was really cute and funny.
Bro, I didn't write this for you to make it through high school. I wrote it to get money. Or
right.
because I enjoy it.
That is always interesting to me when people have such a grand reaction and appreciation, like whether it's like, you know, books, shows, podcasts, whatever it is like, you got me through this really dark time in my life, and like I don't really relate to that, but I mean, I guess it's cool.
Hey,
but I do like that.
If it got you through it, then great. You know.
Yeah, great.
I don't know how to respond to that. I'm sorry. Yeah, a lot of the Oda Q&As were fun, but I especially like the Buggy adventure covers just because it's Buggy with a head, feet, and hands, and no torso, just kind of waddling around.
Yeah,
it's adorable.
It's absolutely adorable, and it does. I mean, those are canon. That's Buggy, like out on his adventure after he got sent flying by Luffy. So, do you guys think we're gonna see a Koro cover art during the next arc that's like explaining what happened to him, or is it gonna? We're not gonna care anymore.
I hope not. I hope it's just more Buggy.
I just I demand pictures of Buggy.
Bring me pictures of Buggy, damn it.
Yeah, insert slamming of desk.
Yeah, J. Jonah Jameson. I need more pictures of Buggy.
Buggy time.
Boy, so we kind of end on the arc. First off, the first butler guy doesn't die. Koro didn't even kill him. Was he really a murderer? He didn't really kill anybody.
I mean, I'm sure he did at some point, but
at some point, and I mean, I'm sure some underlings during the cat out of the bag attack, which is what a cool move, by the way. Can I go back to that one real quick?
That was dope. I was hoping we would get to it eventually.
That was a scary move. Just like everyone starts panicking. It's like, what? It's the cat out of the bag attack. And if someone whispered that to me, I'm running away. I'm gone. Nope. I'm not gonna see what that is.
I saw I even like mentally noted it whenever they were just laying on the ground, and I was like, oh, it's Duncan's favorite part where they're just like laying on the ground acting like they're dead, going, oh no, it's that.
Yeah, whispering to each other of just like, oh shit.
Except I think a lot of them actually did die this time.
I think they did.
yeah, a few of them did, and I think the Cat brothers did too. The officers that Zoro fought. I think they ended up.
Yeah, pretty sure Zoro.
Yeah,
I hope so, because I think they stayed around a chapter too long. But I mean, they were fun to watch.
Yeah, it was more just to show off Zoro getting powerful. Like, you know, 3 sword style, 1 sword style doesn't matter. 2 versus 1 doesn't matter. Zoro can take on whatever Luffy needs him to take on in the moment.
Yeah,
I did appreciate that. One thing I do appreciate about this manga as a whole is that it just lets people die. Like, it doesn't matter if you like them or not. They'll die. Like, people die in this one. To me, it's a little bit more refreshing than Dragon Ball, where it's like everyone dies and then they either bring them all back or it's a bunch of faceless people you don't actually see dying. I think the most death we see in Dragon Ball is obviously Majin Buu's human extinction ray or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're killing the entire population of Earth, and it's like, okay, that's not a very personable thing. But if you were reading this and you were like, man, these cat brothers are kind of funny, I hope they go off and have a crew of their own after Koro gets beat or something, and they just die. And you're like, oh, all right, okay, I guess they're dead.
Yeah, that was... yeah, I do appreciate that people actually die, and there is actually consequence, even though it might be, less than what it's probably probable. But I do enjoy that. Like, I love it when there's actually consequence to things happening, and maybe that's on the more morbid side, but I do appreciate that.
No, I agree with you, John. It's like when you watch TV shows like Game of Thrones and they just start killing off main characters. I love it.
Yeah, they do that very excessively in Game of Thrones, though.
Yeah. No, not to the extent of Game of Thrones, but like you said, it adds that thrill, kind of like, it makes you actually feel like the main characters are at risk at any time.
Yeah, look, consequences matter for building tension. Like, it's not going to matter if every time everyone's going to walk away from this peachy keen, and they're going to rehabilitate the enemy, and he's going to go off and run a soup kitchen someday. Like, I'm not gonna read that. I don't want to read that. I want consequences. I want stakes. I want conflict. I want good characters doing bad things for good reasons, or bad characters doing bad things for bad reasons.
Yeah, I like it in a storytelling perspective when storytelling when nobody is off limits. Like, and I know that's not like there are limits in this, which I mean I still appreciate the way it's written, but I mean maybe we'll get to a manga that's like has that vibe at some point, but like when nobody is off limits, like you think this guy's the main character, surprise,
nope.
Bam, he's dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, if we started reading this and Luffy drowned in the first chapter and that was it, I'd be like, what the fuck? What is happening?
Yeah. I do like when there's no limits. I love reading that and going like, what is next? I have no idea.
And even, I mean, like, we did get it in the first chapter, actually, if you think about it. Shanks, the most powerful character we know at that moment, loses an arm, which you're like, okay, but he's still alive. But they don't put that back. He's just missing an arm now.
Yeah.
It's like, bad things happen to people. It's a crazy world out there. I really appreciate it about it. Because, again, it's like, it's shonen, but it's not as, like, safe, like you guys have been saying, no one's really safe. And sure, we're not gonna really run into like the next chapter Luffy's not gonna get decapitated and Zoro's the captain. Like, it's not that dire, but there could be a moment where it's like, oh shit, Luffy really can't do anything against this guy, what are they gonna do? Or Zoro really got hurt bad, like, is he gonna make it, kind of deal. Like, anybody but Luffy is kind of up for grabs right now.
And the fact that it's all about piracy, I think, is appropriate for it to be like a little dark, because like you said way earlier in the beginning of the podcast, that pirate stuff is pretty fucked. Like, those dudes did a lot of really bad stuff back in the day, and even to this day there are still a lot of modern pirates that do basically the same thing, but just with more technology.
Yeah. And
AK-47s and small submarines.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know. We're going to see some technology eventually in here, and it's going to be fun, but no AK-47s. I'll put that to bed right now.
Oh, that's too bad.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. But it gets close.
I didn't mention it earlier, but I do think I do think it was super creative that the hypnotism was used as a buff instead of just like, you're gonna go to sleep, like typical hypnotizing. It's like, nope, you're gonna have the power of a berserker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
I mean,
much more creative.
that proved that. Yeah, that proved that it was like actually a thing. Because I'm always skeptical when it comes to like antagonists with like special abilities and stuff. Like, all right, how are we gonna figure this one out? But yeah, I mean that, and going back to like the Luffy strong buff that happened, like that was actually pretty suspenseful. Now he was entertaining later on to find out that like he would fuck himself up with it, but I did enjoy that a lot, like using it in different ways and realizing it was legitimately a thing.
I love the reactions of the different people in the crew whenever he just picked up a massive piece of the ship to slam it down. Everyone was like, "Holy shit!"
The entire bow of the ship.
Yes, he pulls the whole figurehead and bow off and slams it, and then it falls on top of him.
And then he's like, "I've been training."
Exactly.
No, he hasn't been. He just got buffed up and is that strong, just that strong.
Yeah. Well, he did say at one point that he's been training. I'll have to find the verbiage for it, but he said something to that effect.
I think he was like, I trained for a while to perfect this move or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I think is alluding to the 10 years like between eating the gum gum and where he is now. Because we don't ever really see Luffy train.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know when he's been having the time to train. He's floating around starving with Zoro.
Well, I don't exactly know how you train rubber muscles, but it seems to work.
Yeah, I think it's less about training muscles and more just about, like, training to discover new ways to use his rubber body to his advantage. Like
his different techniques, like gum gum, pistol, and spear, and concussion, as Nate said earlier.
Gum gum concussion.
That was so good.
What did he actually call it? Do we remember?
I don't remember.
I'm right around there right now.
Was it like
but,
whiplash or something?
Yeah, I think it was like whiplash or something.
Yeah, I believe it was something around those lines. But all I could think of was gum gum concussion.
Well, you got it just right because everybody knew what you were talking about at that point. Yeah, that was...
Bro, Koro might really actually be dead with the force of that headbutt. Like, that's a concussion that if you fall asleep on, you die.
Yeah.
That's a big concussion.
And I loved, like, when he was priming up to do that, he like, warned the rest of Kuro's crew as well. He was like, "Don't move. I'm angry at you guys. I'll kill you too."
Yeah.
Like
they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, it was good. Actually, I have a question if I don't find this in the next couple of seconds. Oh yeah, hold on, there it is. So he was like, "Who said you guys could root for me?" Because they were like, they shifted sides.
Yeah, they wanted Kuro to be done.
He was like, "Who said you guys could root for me? I'm gonna get you guys too. Just wait." And then he just came back and he was like, "Gum gum, bell, ring bell,
yeah, gum gum bell ringer,
bell ringer, yeah, that's what it was."
I like concussion.
That's a bell ringer, all right.
Yeah, he rang his fucking bell from here. Like that dude got hit so hard in the head, he felt it throughout his entire life. Like, he felt it when he was 5.
Gum gum for whom the bell tolls.
So before we like come kind of closer to an end, whenever that is, I did have a question though. So once again, this might be a spoiler for anybody that's reading along or not, but I just need a confirmation.
You should be caught up if you're reading along.
I am.
Oh yeah,
okay, those other people. The other people. No, so in the flashback of 3 years ago when Kuro was on the ship, they boarded a group and like kind of they fucked them up pretty hard and stuff, but he crushed a certain, like, I guess their captain's jaw. They crushed his jaw and he seemed kind of familiar. I just need to know, is that Captain Morgan whose jaw he crushed? Or
I have no idea.
Okay, because like Captain Morgan had that thing going on, like
With the
under,
jaw.
like yeah.
What chapter was that?
I think it was 38, maybe 37.
That would be an interesting observation if true.
That would be.
Let's find out. Hold on. We're at Pirate Crew. Give me the flashback.
Yeah, because I remember that Captain Morgan had the iron jaw thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like the first thing that I thought of when I saw that.
I'm not sure if
Like
they
in the
gave
little
any
flashback.
explanation as to why he had those, like that, or the axe on his arm. I think they were just for character design at the time.
Yeah, they were just
I
as
didn't...
character design, but I mean, I never even thought, because that flashback was just such a nothing, well, not nothing thing, but it set up something, but I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, I was trying to pull something from that, and it was chapter 37, page 15 and 16, or no, yeah, 15, 16, and 17. But yeah, like I kind of recognized he looked very similar, but I wasn't sure if there was any relation there. So I was just curious about that. But I just remembered Captain Morgan, his like jaw device or whatever was going on, his little face mask, and like he broke the shit out of his jaw. In this flashback. So I was just curious. We don't need to kind of sit on that too long.
Oh, I'm going to find out because I'm looking at the panel right now, and it looks just like him.
Was it even... It was a Navy ship, wasn't it?
Yeah, Morgan led a large...
Yeah.
Okay, so here it is according to the wiki. Morgan led a largely unremarkable life in the Marines until the fateful night his crew attacked the Black Cat pirates, incurring the wrath of the infamous Captain Kuro. With his superhuman speed and deadly claws, Kuro easily massacred all of Morgan's crewmates, leaving Morgan himself just barely alive with a broken jaw and a maimed arm. And then they hypnotized him.
I fucking called it!
Yeah, I never noticed that. I never noticed that. That's a good catch, dude.
I love
That's
that.
an excellent catch.
What a great
I am so
callback.
proud of myself.
You should be. That was awesome. What a callback. Yeah, I never noticed that. But
That's
yeah,
gonna
then
keep me on the lookout.
Then they hypnotized
Yeah.
him to say, like, hey, you're the guy who caught Captain Kuro. Then they dressed up that fucking imposter. But so that's what got him the rank of captain. Of course. He probably wasn't even a captain at that point. But he got promoted to captain and put in charge of that station for capturing Kuro, or who they
That
thought.
makes a lot of sense.
Jesus. Yeah, now, oh man, I can't believe I never knew that after all this time.
That's super
Yeah.
cool. All right.
I
Yeah.
agree.
All right, everyone's
Hey,
on
listeners,
board.
we learned something today.
Everybody's back on board, baby. This is awesome. Yeah, good catch, John. That was impressive.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I was just really intrigued by that. Yeah, as soon as I read it, I made a mental note to kind of bring that up at some point.
Well, you should start writing your mental notes down. Bring it up soon.
No, they're mental.
Don't make them mental anymore.
They have to stay in my mental.
Oh, geez. So, wow, Revelation. I love it. So, what I was going to say before we went back to the cat out of the bag attack and talking about more about Kuro, we have a ship. The pirates, the Straw Hat Pirates officially have a ship. Luffy has a ship called the Going Merry that the other butler who Kuro failed to kill.
Mary.
Mary gave him. And, yeah, it's really starting to come together now. We have our captain. We have our first mate in Zoro. We potentially have a navigator in Nami if she sticks around, and now we have Sniper in Usopp. With that being said, which job do you think is going to get filled next? Like, I don't know if you guys are super familiar with ship, like jobs on a ship, but if you had to pick one, who do you think they would try to get next?
I'm calling it now. It's going to be a chef.
I was just about to say a cook. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say nuclear physicist. I'm lost.
Okay.
Okay. Nate, is that your final answer?
Hey, you stick to your guns, Nate.
Yeah, no, I wasn't coming off of that. I could be
All
right.
So 2 votes for chef, 1 vote for nuclear physicist
That's right.
on a pirate ship.
Yeah.
A caravel,
Dude,
which is a pretty small ship, all things
Listen,
considered. It's better than the tubs that they had before.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, this ship is they'll explore the ship a little bit more as we go on. Not that there's a lot to explore, but you'll get more detailed drawings of like the deck and stuff and inside.
This is my favorite barrel.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. This is the barrel I almost drowned in. So yeah, I mean the crew's really starting to come together, guys, and we'll see who we get next. Speaking of next time, let me take a little look here in my brain.
It's gonna take a while.
No, we're good. I already found it. So the next time we read One Piece, if you guys want to keep reading it,
we're not stopping.
Okay.
Oh, I'm never stopping now.
We're obviously still going.
Okay. All right. Well then,
we've calculated it, and it's gonna take us about 2 or 3 years or 4,
maybe 5, if you guys can't keep reading it.
Stay tuned, listener. We got a trip coming on.
We're in it for the long haul. So next week we won't be reading One Piece. Next week we'll have something else. But the week after that, get out your notebooks, kids, because this is what we're reading next. We're going to start at chapter 42 and go to chapter 68. That's 27 chapters.
All right.
It's called the Barati arc. Yeah, that's still just one arc. Yeah, have fun with that. I mean, our first episode was 2 arcs. Our third episode is 1 arc. Our fourth is going to be 1 arc with more chapters. So it's just
nice.
It's just going to keep going up from here, boys. The scale's going to get larger. The arcs are going to get longer, and it's going to get way more interesting as we go. So I'm very much excited. Yes. And
I was excited before, and now that I know that like random things keep tying into each other, I'm even more excited.
Yeah, well, yeah. Now I'm like going to be like zooming in on everyone's face going like, is that someone we know? Is that someone we know? But again, having the context I have, I do know like they do tie back a lot of things, back to one another. So as you read something, like remember it because it might come up again later. Awesome. I just never considered it was happening this early. Like when I first read it, I was like, okay, Morgan, Buggy, Koro, cool, next. Like I was just, I was going through it. I was 900 chapters behind. I was just trying to get through it. But now that we're taking a detailed look, that's blowing my mind. I can't wait to see if you guys find anything else that I skipped over way back when.
I think it helps that while I'm reading, I know that we're going to have a discussion about it later. So there's little details that I would normally glaze over that I pay more attention to. I'm sure you all feel the same way.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I try to. Sometimes it does, I'll admit, it does get a little tough for me because I have read it. So as I'm going through it, I'm like, oh, I remember this part. And but I'm not like skipping it. I'm still reading it. It's just maybe I read a little bit faster in that moment of just like, I remember this part, or I remember this was a boring part, so I just move on. But so yeah. Next time we'll do. Do you guys have any final thoughts on the Syrup Village arc? Anything?
I have a fun ship fact.
Shit fact or ship fact?
Ship with a P.
Oh, okay. A shit fact.
The new ship, what was it? The Merry-Go is what they call it?
Going Merry.
Going Merry. So it's a caravel. And for our American listeners, between the Santa Maria, Pinta, and Nina, which I'm sure we're all familiar with, the Pinta and Nina were both smaller caravels.
Just clarify, those were the ships that aided Columbus?
Christopher Columbus, yes.
Yes, okay. I thought the Mayflower.
No.
Bruh. You go back to 6th grade.
That was the Pilgrims, not Christopher Columbus. That's right. What's the difference?
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, so a couple caravels. So do you have a size, like, reference? How many people can they carry?
Yeah, so the smaller caravels that the Pinta and Nina were around 15 to 20 meters and displace around 60 to 75 tons. But this specific page
is that?
It's a lot of hamburgers.
15 to 20 meters. I think that's like bigger than my house. Or
it's
maybe like right around, yeah, like I think my house is probably about that long, maybe a little bit longer. That's pretty big.
That's pretty big.
Okay, so our crew's got a sizable ship now.
We got a big ship, yeah.
Listeners, so
Nice.
you can reference, we'll base every size off of my house. So just come and check it out at any point.
It's gonna be really hard because you live in a dishwasher box, so
We don't need to discuss that.
just put you out there like that. I'll think about editing it out. It's kind of funny though.
No, don't. Yeah, that was fun. I'm just messing with you. Yeah, that's good.
Oh man! So, anybody else have some closing thoughts before I ruin John's life again?
We don't hold back on this.
I'm good. I'm excited to keep reading. I think that's what I'm closing with. I'm now more excited than I was last time.
Yeah, Nami's
Agreed.
still great.
She's
And I'm
so
looking
great.
forward to seeing her more.
Well, you just might.
Yeah.
You just might. So,
I'm excited to
fellas.
see Usopp's character evolve some more.
yes, I'm excited to see all their characters grow up.
Crazy.
A little bit. Grow up a little bit. I'm just excited to see. I'm excited for you guys to see who comes on next. It's gonna be a good one.
All right.
All right. Looking
I
forward
can't
to
wait
it.
to see the nuclear physicist.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I mean,
I can't
bro,
wait.
chapter 45, we get nukes.
Dude,
That would
I'm
be
so
wild.
glad.
Nice.
Load
He
the
has-
buggy nuke.
He has the nuke fruit and can just snap his fingers and form a mushroom cloud in the distance.
Yeah, dude, the nuke fruit.
The nuke fruit.
That's
Just waiting on Buggy to come back.
Yeah,
I take back using steel fruit. I'm gonna be the nuke fruit.
walking
love it.
WMD. Oh my god. All right,
Uranium.
well, hey. Oh jeez. All right. Well, hey, thank you everyone so much for listening to that one time we read manga podcast. We'll catch you next week.
Thank you for
Bye.
listening.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. And stop recording.